Welcome one and all, I'm Decoy, and today we got something pretty darn interesting to talk about, and that is the map size. I know some people might not find this interesting, but the map itself is way larger than what it seems. The playable area is actually fairly small when compared to the entirety of the map that you can run around in. The ground is solid, there's trees. Heck, in some spots you can even find down logs that you can harvest for wood. What are they doing out in the middle of nowhere? No one knows. But let me try to break this all down for you. Start off with a photo of the entire map. Something we're all used to. Now, let's take what is roughly the playable area out of that map, which would be something along the lines of this. Of course, some sections on here are definitely still out of bounds, like on the other side of the river to the left. But this is a fairly good idea of what is the out of bounds zone that you can still walk around in and explore if you manage to get out of bounds. That is a bunch of space out there. And to give you a little bit better idea, what I ended up doing was I took our inbounds area and then I just drug sections from the bottom, top, and both sides inward to give you an idea. That's not even taking into account the corner sections that were missing, some of the sections above and below the side sections that I drug in. Honestly, the out of bounds area that you can completely walk around in and explore to your heart's content nearly doubles the size of the map. It is insane. And the fact that you can run around and there's trees all over the place. It's decorated, at least with foliage. But I don't understand. Like, put all this time into it, and we're well past 2 years into the game. Way past it. We're probably closer to 2.5 by now. We're creeping up on it. We're getting there. And we haven't used this space yet. Now, one thing that does suck about the out of bounds area, at least right now, but it makes sense, is you can't throw down a camp, you can't put a tent out here, none of that. Now, some people have speculated that maybe they'll use some of this during expeditions, but I don't know. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think this entire area is just going to sit out here and rot, and just rot away to nothingness. For a long time, people hoped that, as different, I don't want to say DLCs or expansions got added, but like, say, with Wastelanders, when that came out, maybe we would get more content in the out of bounds zone. And I really wish that's how things worked, because I'm not a huge fan of, say, a cool and unique camp location being taken away from us so they could put some random garbage there in its place and then block people from camping there. But I do have a fairly neat idea as to how they could go about utilizing all of this space. But I'm not sure how many of you are going to be with me on this one. So if it was my call as to what to do, step one, take one person from the development team. Just one person. Hey, for the next week, 2 weeks, your job, go around the boundary of the map. Any floating rocks, floating trees, any weird stuff like that, just go ahead and delete them. Alright, don't bother fixing it, just delete it. There's no reason, just get rid of it. It's just a wasted asset right now. Go ahead and clean up the out of bounds area a little bit. I mean, for the most part, it is pretty darn clean, but it does need tweaks here and there. Then, when they're done with that, alright, you got it all cleaned up. Alright, so for about the next week, 2 weeks, whatever, I want you to go around the boundary, just wherever you feel like it. Just grab one of our pre-made, like, log cabins, some tents, whatever you want. Just go ahead, have fun. You just go around the outside of the map and just put random little campsites here and there. Because this is the wilderness. We don't need anything super crazy. Just a hunting cabin here. Some tents over there. Just random stuff here and there. Kind of like cool and unique camp locations. But just scattered throughout the out of bounds zone. Once that is all done, I would have them do this is where it's going to get crazy. Alright, so we're going to move the out of bounds marker as far back as you can before, like right before the map just lets you fall through it. The crazy part of this is this newfound area for players to be in is now what we're going to call the Badlands. It is going to be completely PvP. No restrictions whatsoever. No holding your hand. You step into the Badlands, be prepared to get shot. But to incentivize people to go out into the Badlands and want to hang out there, I would put more double resource locations out of bounds. I'd put them all over the place out of bounds. And I've received a bunch of things from my double resource video where people are like, hey, I want double junk, or I want this, or I want that. I'm like, well, I can't make that a thing. But I would say do something along those lines. Heck, maybe here and there, maybe you got a triple resource location where you could throw down a camp. That is really going to help to force some players to want to be out in the PvP zone. They wouldn't have to be out there, but it definitely spice things up and make it interesting. It would also maybe bring back some of the more survivalist type players who really love their PvP. It would also maybe give a reason as to why normally people aren't straying outside the map too often because they're getting shot in the face. Now, of course, when you do reach the actual edge of the world, it's going to look something like this, to where you just slowly start to sink into the world, like a little bit of a quicksand effect. And I mean, that's the absolute border of the map right there. And what happens? Eventually you just kind of fall through it, and then it teleports you back above ground as per normal anywhere else in the world if you fell. But that's pretty much my idea. I would love to see the out of bounds area turned into some crazy Badlands idea. But I'd love to know what you think. Please hop down in the comments and let me know. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please remember to like, sub, and share. Later.